This is KTVO's Good Morning Heartland.
Welcome back. School is right around the corner for Heartland kids, which means there will be new bedtimes in place. And from elementary to high school, sleeping problems are widespread. So today we have Dr. Puckett from Complete Family Medicine here this morning to talk about the importance of sleep and how we can help our kids get back into a good sleeping routine. How are you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
So I remember growing up, I had a strict sleeping schedule, a bedtime during the school year, and then in the summertime, I would stay up until 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, sleep until 12, 1 p.m., 2 p.m. So how common is it to have sleeping problems among kids these days?
Yeah, it's actually more common than you might think. For elementary school students, studies show greater than 40% have some sort of major sleep issue. When we get into adolescence, it crosses over 50%. So getting enough sleep is really a problem for all the way across the ages.
So obviously the problem is definitely going beyond just making them tired, right?
Right. So students, kids in general, are really interesting in the fact that they usually don't complain of not getting enough sleep. What happens is it's all of the peripheral things that lack of sleep causes. Moodiness, getting in trouble, inattentiveness, having those little dozing offs during the day, not driving well for the older teenagers. All those things can play in together, and someone might not even say, I didn't sleep good last night, or having any sleep complaints at all.
Yeah, so what are some steps and ways to finally get into a good sleeping habit and routine with parents and kids coming with the school year?
Yeah, so there's some things that we ought to do heading between now and when school starts in a couple weeks. So the first thing was that it's been shown that if you'll tick your back to bed time by 15 minutes every night, that you're going to have a much more successful, easier transition back into a normal bedtime. The first thing that you need to do is involve your child. Talk to them about why sleep is important. It's not just because we're being some tyrant parent that just my rules, and they need to understand, especially the older teenagers, they really need to understand that they're going to get less sick, they're going to get better grades, they're going to have better friendships, they're going to just perform better in all aspects of their life by getting those required hours of sleep. So deciding as a group, as a parent and a child conversation, what should our bedtime regimen look like? And if they've been going to bed at 10:30, 11 o'clock and you're moving it to 9 o'clock, like I said, tick that back by 15 minutes every few days so that you can get back there a little more gently. It's hard when your body's used to going to bed at midnight to just all of a sudden we're going to go to bed at 8 o'clock. And then recognizing those number of hours needed for the different age groups, and targeting that. And then once we decide kind of, okay, bedtime is this, then the parents need to recognize that kids are I think we know that they're a little bit mischievous at times, and especially when it comes to sleep. So they may be in their room, the light may be out, and we may think that they're sleeping, but there's something else going on. They're either reading, they're just sitting up in bed, they're thinking, they're writing, they're whatever. And they may fall asleep, wake up in the middle of the night and spend 2 hours watching TV and then go back to bed, and parents not even recognize it. So having that conversation about why it's important and then really working towards that. As far as when they go to sleep, the things that we need to work on is creating good sleep hygiene. So a consistent bedtime, a consistent regimen, and not making bedtime such a negative thing. So if bedtime's 8:30, then the routine should start at 7:30. At 7:30 we do this. At 8 o'clock we brush our teeth. By 8:15, we have our clothes ready for tomorrow, and then we gently kind of at 8:30 when the bedtime is, that's really all we're asking them to do is just go get in bed. And then once they're there, keeping things quiet, using some white noise, some sort of is fine, but also turning the clock away so that they don't have something to stare at, making sure it's dark in the room. So as we go to bed here this fall and daytimes are still extended, you might even have to put in some sort of a darkening blind to help make the room dark.
Oh, interesting. That's a good tip. I like how you say you want to make it a fun time, not so much like a dread going to bed. So I like having some sort of schedule and a regimen to follow. So let's talk about how much sleep should we aim for with different age groups?
Well, it varies based upon age, but those infants that are little bitty babies are going to need between 15 and 16 hours. Between 1 month and a year, those infants actually need between 14 and 15 hours of sleep. Once you pass a year to that 3-year mark, 12 to 14 hours, 3 to 6 year olds 10 to 12 hours, 7 to 12 year olds 10 to 11 hours, and then that adolescent group of 12 to 18, 8 to 9 hours per day.
Okay, all right. So what we'll do is we'll post everything on our website at heartlandconnection.com, and we'll also link up Dr. Puckett's information with Complete Family Medicine, because sometimes not being able to sleep can actually be a real problem. So they can talk to you and hopefully find out different ways to kind of help with that.
Yep,
So,
if those things don't help, they need to see their doctor and get it addressed because it's very important.
all right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Puckett,
Thank you.
and we'll be right back.